'Cause everything is you. You are everything.
Hi and welcome to Creative Hearts. I'm Jemma Rosenthal. I'm a creative life coach and healer, and I'm here to help you empower your voice and live your most creative life. So, on today's video, I decided to do a video about being seen and heard, and why it is that we fear this so much, putting ourselves out there, putting our creations out there. I don't know about you, but I've experienced so much anxiety, procrastination, doubt, worry, fear around actually putting out things into the world that may be ideas that I've had for many years, things that I really wish that I could do, and then actually the steps towards doing those things, whether that be when I first did my first blog post. I know that, now I've done quite a few blog posts, but it was actually, maybe 4 or 5 years before that I had the idea, I would like to write a blog. And so sometimes things do take a while to get to that point. If you are interested in checking out my blog, by the way, I will post the link underneath. Yeah, it's how do we be seen and heard in an honest way, in a truthful way that is our true self? Because, first of all, we have to question what is being seen and heard. Yeah? We could say it's the people that have the most following, it's the people that have the loudest voices, it's the ones who get the most praise, etc. Or maybe it's the ones that are most hated, the ones that the entire world, don't like, because they are seen and heard because they have a platform and they are witnessed by the world. There's a lot of people at the moment where that's happening to, where they may actually be seen and heard physically, as in people are seeing them, they're hearing them. But is that really being seen and heard? What does it mean to be seen and heard? This is a question that we can sit with ourselves with and really look deeply into what being seen and heard means. For me, it's about witnessing someone's true self, going beyond the ego, beyond their false identity, who they think they are, and seeing what's really true. Or even before we get to that point, it might be actually seeing what emotions are blocking the true self. So, how does this relate to when we're creating? Well, creativity is a way to access those emotions, process, and to heal. So there's two forms of creating. There's creating for yourself to heal, and then there's creating for others to be seen and heard in terms of the other. Technically, on a metaphysical level, you are always creating for yourself, since there is only one self here. However, for the purposes of this video and practicality, we will be referring to yourself as the person, identity, who inhibits your body, and others as other people outside of this. So there's being seen and heard for yourself. So this morning, for example, I did my morning routine in the garden and I was doing some yoga stretches, and I looked over and I realised, I have some paints inside the shed. So I decided to do a bit of painting. Now, I've not done painting in a while. It's something that sometimes I forget to do because it's not my main art medium. However, it's something that I love doing and I really enjoy. It helps me to feel calm. So I got out my paintbrushes, started painting the scene around me. I just looked around me and started to do some of the grass, and there was little flowers on there, and I was just drawing what was right in front of me. with the paintbrush. And this is about seeing and hearing myself and the world around me. So this is not about creating a piece of art that I'm going to showcase somewhere. It could turn into that, but most likely it's just going to be for me to practice my art and to get into the present moment. So these type of creative activities, whether that be singing for yourself, writing for yourself, it might be doing morning pages, which is something Julia Cameron talks about, where you just write. I do them every morning, and you write down what's in your mind and just put it on paper. And that's a chance for you to see and hear yourself. Now you might be thinking, well, how am I hearing myself if I'm writing when that's, not something that's audible? But when we're witnessing ourselves, when we're hearing our inner voice. So as you're listening, you're writing. And as you're writing, you're listening. So you're actually hearing. So you might be writing down, like, what is it that I want to do today? What are the blocks that are getting in the way of me achieving blah, 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 blah? And as you're writing this down, you're hearing yourself. You're giving yourself the opportunity to be heard and seen and witnessed through giving yourself that time and space. So these are some of the creative practices that you can do to heal and help yourself be seen and heard. So this is for yourself. Then we have on the other side, being seen and heard for others. What we may call the public eye, or it could be just one person. So if it's a one-on-one situation, let's go with that first. That's somewhere sort of in the middle of these two aspects. So we have the seeing and hearing yourself. Then we have seeing and hearing with one-on-one situation. So this sort of situation is what I would do if I'm giving a life coaching session. If I'm helping someone like you, for example, if we were sat here and I was giving you a life coaching session and we were working on your voice, and I may ask you some questions, how is it that you would like to express yourself? And you may answer back and say, well, I'd really like to write a book, or I'd really like to be able to sing just for myself and just to express myself, not for anyone else, but just to sing, just to feel my own voice. So they're two different, that's me seeing and hearing two different goals of one person saying that you want to see and hear yourself and see and hear for others. Yeah, so the writing the book would be for others, singing for yourself would be for yourself. And these are examples of people who've been my clients, who've had these goals. And me as the coach, I am the witness to your desires, goals, dreams. And so I'm listening, I'm hearing, okay, you'd like to write a book. And then I may ask another question, something like, have you done much writing before? And you might say, yeah, I've done, sometimes I write for myself, but I've not really had time lately. I've just been really busy with work and, commitments that I've got going on. And in that sense, I'm hearing and witnessing, okay, so I hear that you've had a lot of commitments going on lately and you've not had time for writing. But was there a time when you did write more? And you might say, yeah, actually, when I was younger, I used to write a lot. I used to write stories and create magazines. And, I'm making this up on the spot, but I'm also reflecting on actual people that I've worked with who've expressed these things. And this might be you. You might be someone that, does have a desire to write, does have a desire to sing or speak or express yourself in any other artistic way. And in that moment, I'm witnessing you in that expression, that self-expression of figuring out, yeah, this is something that I did used to do. This is something that I want to do. And then I'm also witnessing the block. Okay, so let's talk about that. So what is it that's stopping you? Okay, so I'm doing so much work for the people, and I'm, not able to focus on the things that I want to do, and I just don't have the energy. I feel overwhelmed. So in that moment, I'm hearing and seeing you, or the person that I'm coaching, in that feeling. And we may just drop it further into the body. So we may just see, like, go into the heart. So you can do this with any issue that you have, whether it's something that you want to create, but you have so many feelings around it. Witness yourself, or work with a coach like myself, and allow yourself to be seen and heard. Now, what is the benefit of this? Why do we need to be seen and heard? We need to be seen and heard to process and embody what it is that we're here to do in the world. And we can't do that if we don't witness ourselves. So if we completely shut off the part of the mind which is the witness, which is the true self, really, because the witness is beyond all these thoughts and feelings. The witness is who you really are, your true self, the one who sees, the one who knows, the one who hears. Is this making sense? I know I'm talking quite a lot, but if you can really drop into that sense of, I am the one who sees, I am the one who hears, I am the one who knows, then you can truly come into your heart and center and be able to work from that place of nourishment and self-love. So, dropping into the body is witnessing, seeing and hearing the body as well. So just taking a few breaths right now and drop into your heart, drop into your belly, and ask yourself this question. So just doing this with me as if we're in a coaching session right now. Closing your eyes if you wish to. Ask yourself, what is it that wants to be seen? And it may be that a sensation comes up. It may be that a thought pops in. It may be that you get a vision of some kind, or you may even hear something, although we're going to do that question in a minute. But whatever's there, just let it be. What is it that needs to be seen? And then you can ask the question, what is it that needs to be heard? So actually, when I asked this question, what needs to be seen, my attention was drawn to my ear, which I didn't notice before. I have a condition where it's called pulsation tinnitus. So in my left ear, it makes a sound. And it's something that I'm not always aware of, but sometimes if I'm quiet, I can hear it. And this was getting really, really bad at one stage, and I had to go to the hospital, but I was training myself to focus on other things as well. But it's interesting that popped up, because the next question is, what is it that needs to be heard? So now we're going to focus on our ears, closing your eyes again and just breathing. What is it that needs to be heard? Now, it may be that you're just hearing the sounds around you. Cars, birds, whatever's there. The wind. Or it may be that there's an internal sound, an internal voice that you've been ignoring. Just let what is be there. What is it that needs to be heard? And if nothing comes up, that's fine as well. So doing this exercise, you may have some notes you want to write down. So you might want to write down something that you've seen or heard today and witnessed in yourself. So moving to the next section, we have seen and hearing yourself, which you've just done with me. So it's a combination between working with a coach who you've just been working one-on-one really, apart from the fact that I'm on a screen. But if you do want to work with me one-on-one, then drop me a message at creativehearts.coach or Jemma Rosenthal, which is my pages on Facebook and Instagram. And, we can work together. And the first session is always free to just have a chat and see what it is that you'd like to work on. And so we've done the witnessing ourselves, and you've worked one-on-one in a way through this interaction. Now we have being seen and heard by multiple people, by many. Now this is the area that sometimes we most find difficult. Sometimes some people struggle more with one-on-one situations or seeing their self, witnessing themselves. So some people always go around other people, maybe they're always partying. Maybe this is you. Maybe, you're always distracting yourself with people and places and just being around many, many people. Maybe you are a workaholic and you're always working and doing things for others. Or maybe you struggle with one-on-one, you find one-on-one much more easier and being with yourself much more easier. Sometimes we call these people introverts. And maybe you find actually being in front of a lot of people difficult. Maybe the energies feel too much. Maybe it feels overwhelming. Now, this is something I can relate to because I do feel much more comfortable sometimes in one-on-one situations or by myself, even though I'm a performer. So I may come across as if I'm very, very confident on stage, which I can be confident on stage, and also, being around lots of people. If I'm in a room dancing, I can feel very, very confident. But the difference is that the times I feel most comfortable in groups of people, big groups of people, is often when it's organized situations. Maybe it's some kind of workshop or on stage, for example, or if it's where I'm able to chat one-on-one with people. So I do feel that more confident when I'm aware of the situation surrounding me, where I feel completely comfortable with the situation. So how do we start to feel seen and heard with big groups of people when some of the blocks can be around this, can be, well, I don't know everyone. It's impossible to know everyone in a big group of people. Let's say that you're putting your work out there for lots of people to be seen and heard. You don't necessarily have a one-on-one relationship with all of these people. That would be very time consuming and quite hard to do. So how do we get over the fear of putting ourselves out there when we don't necessarily know how we're going to be received? First of all, we use these two aspects to help with this. So we witness ourselves and these fears and these doubts with another person. That could be a friend or a coach like myself, or somebody that you trust, a teacher, a healer. And then you also witness it when you're by yourself. So you allow yourself to sit with, why is it that I have this fear of larger group of people hearing me, seeing me? Now, this is shown to be quite a common fear of public speaking. A lot of people have fear of public speaking. Now, I know many people who are afraid to put their stuff online because maybe they don't feel comfortable in online spaces. Maybe they feel like being on a video is too exposing or too vulnerable. This can just be something that can be frightening, and also challenging, of how do we show up in these spaces and be seen and heard as our true self, not as a facade. Because it can be easy for people to show up in spaces with big groups of people when it's a facade. It's not our true self. So this can be a lot easier to put on a front or a mask or an identity to kind of cover up that fear of being seen and heard. So I remember one time I was watching a thing on Madonna, actually, and she said something which made me think, oh, that's really, really nice. She said that when she was performing to lots and lots of people, she would imagine them as lights. Now, I think this is something she was told as well, so I don't know if it was her idea or not, but that the crowd of people were lights rather than people, which may be more scary. And I know the other thing is to think, people say to imagine people naked, and then you may laugh. But I think that I think the idea behind this is to remember that everyone is just a person. It's just a human being like you. And that we're all connected, and that we're all essentially from the same source. We're all part of this existence, this universe. So these are some of the ideas that can help us when we are fearful of being seen or heard. It's also about remembering that we don't have to be seen and heard in these sort of typical ways that we assume we have to, if that makes sense. So we don't have to have millions of people following us, for example, on Instagram, to be seen and heard by many people in a meaningful way. It's much more important that we are being our true self than by showing up to many people as a image that is not really who we are. Of course, we all play roles and we do certain things which can be appropriate for certain situations. So I'm not saying that you can never show up in a certain role or identity. It's just that you don't identify that as who you are. And also, you're not deceiving anyone. So the purpose of playing a role is to help. It's not to deceive. So that's the difference between playing a role because you're frightened of being your true self and you're frightened of loss, or playing a role because it's helpful to yourself, to others, to whoever it is that you're with. So I hope that's clarified a little bit about what it means to be seen and heard as your true self. It's about witnessing your emotions. It's about witnessing your desires and your dreams and goals. It's about being honest about where you're at. And also taking little steps at a time. So it might be that you're not ready to be in front of many, many, many people yet, but you could maybe try a small audience. Say if you're sharing your poems or something, you may go to an open mic and have a supportive audience there where you can try out some of your material. But what about when it gets to the point that you want to publish your poems and you want to go on much, much bigger stages? How is it that we can be seen and heard and not feel this fear of rejection? Well, unfortunately, I guess we have to feel the fear of rejection in order to go through it and be okay with it. So I'm not saying I have all the answers because I'm still working through this myself. But if you have any comments or any thoughts around this topic, do put it in the comments section, and do like this video and share it with anyone that you feel it may benefit. So I'm just going to pull a card as well to finish this video. These are called self-love and creative cards. So this was actually the card that I pulled. If you want to go and watch my card pulling for the year, I'll put the link below here as well. It's on this channel. So if you can see, there's someone doing some yoga stretches and some head massage. It says, give yourself a massage, book one in, have a lush bath with lovely smells and candles, do some yoga or stretches, choose nourishing and healthy foods and eat with mindfulness. And it says, I love and take care of my body. So how does this relate to being seen and heard? Well, the way I would interpret this card for this particular topic is that when you're embodied, you can more clearly be seen and heard, and you can more clearly see and hear yourself and other people. So I think a lot of the time we're in our heads and we're analysing, oh my God, will these people like me? Will I be rejected? Will I be praised? All these things around being seen and heard, projecting as well. This was the other thing I was going to talk about, but I forgot earlier. So one thing that we tend to do, rather than seeing and hearing ourselves, we tend to project it onto other people, onto screens in particular as well. So we let other people play out our fears and desires on screens. So we watch films, we watch television, we watch YouTubes and social media, and we point the finger outward basically, and we say, oh my God, I'm glad I'm not them. I'm glad that's not happening to me, and criticize other people. Or we put other people's work down, maybe that person's not a good singer, oh, let's put them down. Or that person is a good singer, so we'll make them on top of a pedestal, but then we'll bring them down because that's what people do. Instead of going inward and going, oh wow, I want to sing. I want to be seen and heard. I want to hear my own voice. I want to share my own voice, but I'm scared of rejection. So it's easy for me to point outwards at someone else who's doing it and bring them down. So this is what we do. So taking care of your body is about beginning to bring it inward. Instead of projecting outward to others, it's about taking care of yourself, going for walks, nourishing your body, eating foods that feel good for you. And this may seem like, well, what has this got to do with being seen and heard? But you're witnessing your body. Your body speaks. Listen. So I'm going to leave it on that, but do follow this page, subscribe, and follow my pages on creativehearts.coach, Jemma Rosenthal. Put the links below. If you have any questions, just drop me a message. That's the message. I got a message. And it's great to talk. So make sure you keep talking and seeing and hearing yourself and others as well. So the best way to be able to see and hear yourself is to see and hear others. So that's my final point. I keep adding to this video because more comes up. Is be a witness to someone else. See and hear someone else. And trust me, it will help you to be seen and heard yourself. You will feel that you are able to then more openly be seen and heard because you've witnessed someone else. And that's an amazing thing. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you soon.
You are everything.